Today is Thursday, November 14th, 2024. That was a loud truck. We're parked down at Appalachia Trailhead. It's going to be a beautiful day above tree line today, and we're heading up to Madison and Adams. What we're planning today is start out on Valley Way, and then we have some trail cleanup to do on the way up. So we're going to get the bottom, I think it's 2/10 of Watson Path, that's on the right-hand side of Valley Way. So I think we have to head up Scar and then take it across back to Valley Way. And then we have to go out to the Valley Way tent site and take Upper Bruin across to Airline, go up Airline and cut across on Airline Cutoff. That'll take us over to Madison Hut. And then we'll go up Madison and then over to Adams. And our plan is to come down Airline. If it gets super icy someplace, we might cut across over to Valley Way. But that's our plan today. It's around 8:20. So here we go, 24 degrees at the car. We are at the intersection for Scar, which we've already done, but I don't know if it shows on here. We need this little chunk that goes from here to there, back to Valley Way. So we're gonna go up Scar, and then I think this is called Scar Loop.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember which one of these is Scar and which one is Scar Loop.
Scar Trail is one we're going to stay on.
Okay, we're gonna stay on Scar Trail and then take Watson Path back to Valley Way, and then come up Valley Way. I don't know why it's not displaying right all the way. Go out to the campsite, come back, go across here, which is Upper Bruin, come up Airline, and then across here, which is Airline Cutoff, takes you out right at the hut. That's our plan. Okay, so we're gonna go do Scar just for a little bit. We really enjoyed Scar and Scar Loop. Scar Loop, I think, is only recommended for climbing from here, right? You go up it this way. Yeah, although I think you could go down it. I don't think it was all that scary. Maybe in the winter you wouldn't want to. Okay, couple tenths out of our way, but not really.
Nah, it's fine.
It's less than that probably. But we do need to get those 2/10 of a mile on Watson Path, so let's go do that. Okay, we made it up to our junction, so Scar Trail will continue on up to Airline. If you go, it actually goes up and around here. It's a nice trail. And then Watson Path, we only need the bottom 2/10, yay. So we'll be taking that right back to Valley Way. Excellent. And it goes along this way. It was pretty steep climbing. The sun is just terrible climbing up, but now it's going to be flat and maybe a little bit down. I don't think it's steeply down though.
It goes down a little.
A little.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're off. We're up here at Valley Way tent site. So as you're walking in, there's a sign with a couple wires overhead for doing a bear hang. And then a little further on, there's a bear box. And then you get to a privy and an information board, but I didn't see a map on the board, so I'm just walking out here randomly. I didn't see a fee schedule. There's definitely stuff cut over here. There were some tenting spots right by the privy. There was a fire ring. This is not very flat. Do they have... What is this? Oh, it's all cut trees.
Yeah, maybe down
Are there platforms?
I mean, there's a couple of spots. I can see there's one over here.
Where?
Same level straight ahead. And there's the one that's down there.
There's one down here. Okay, so right there's one. Right there's one back there. I don't see any platforms, but everything's cut in here. I kind of expect there to be one right here, but I don't know if it's flat enough. Weird. I guess you could do, I don't even know. You can definitely put multiple tents in those though. You can't even, they cut so many trees you can barely do a hang if you wanted to hammock. I don't know how many spots are supposed to be here. It's a tent site, so I thought there'd be some platforms like at Gio. I don't know. In any case, Valley Way, I actually didn't research it at all. So maybe it says in the book how many spots there are. You might be able to hammock down in that. Okay. So we have a little bit of snow here. Definitely less than an inch. And I think there's 2 people out ahead of us, even though there were a bunch of cars. I didn't see anybody down there. Those guys donned spikes. We were able to get around. There's some flow ice where there's seepage on the trail. But if you're careful, then you can rock hop through it. So we haven't put on any spikes yet. This is the privy. Privy, firing right here, and up there is definitely another large tent site. That looks like equipment. And then this is the kiosk. There's nothing, it doesn't say you have to pay. Most of these are $15 a night per person, but those usually have a caretaker. That's a bear box. I didn't open it. And then back here, there was a little bit of water also. So I think that might be the water source as you're coming in. It was flowing pretty good. Where is that thing? Oh, there it is. I know this is riveting. Yeah, this is where the bear hang is. Although I don't know why you would need it. Look above. Please use the wire to hang food. And there's 2 wires up there, but I just use a bear box. All right, so this is Valley Way tent site. It's about 3 miles up on Valley Way. So about a half a mile to the hut, maybe a little less. And then from the hut, you have to get up to the summit of Madison. So it's not really a hop, skip, and a jump to Madison. You might be able to see the edge of Madison right through the trees there. All right, next stop will be, actually, we're going up just a little bit, and then we're going to take Upper Bruin across to Airline. We are at the junction now for Upper Bruin. I didn't zoom in, but right there is a FPA sign, which is kind of crazy because we're so close to the Valley Way tent site right now. We're definitely inside the FPA. And
on the way up, the FBA was so far away.
I know, it was really, really far. It's weird. They have, if you look at the map on the FPA though, it's like there's overlapping FPAs because of the hut. I don't know. Basically, you should assume you're in an FPA for quite a ways.
Set up your tent here.
Oh yeah, this is a little steep. You're not going to do anything here. So this is our first time on Upper Bruin. As you can see, there's no footprints on it. It's not a super heavily used trail. And it's going to take us over to Airline. And I believe it pops us out sort of near Chemin des Dames. So we're going to be exposed when we pop out at the other end. We are now at the junction of Chemin des Dames, which goes down that way. It's a terrifying 25. This is looking into King Ravine. And it's super warm in the sun. No wind right here. And we just ran into our first hikers of the day. And they're kind of White Mountain celebrities taking the day because the conditions are so nice today. So that would be Littlefoot and her entourage. And I can see there's more footprints ahead of us. So people definitely came up Airline. And there's Madison. All right. Still bare booting. Plenty of exposed rock and no ice. We're up at the Airline cutoff now. So up there is Adams. Over here is Crag Camp. I wonder if you can see it. It's in the sun. It's like right around there. That's an RMC, Randolph Mountain Club cabin. It's very nice. Has a cool view. And then we're gonna take Airline cutoff. It says 0.2, but I think it's even closer. The hut is right there, Madison. And the summit is right there. This is new trail for us. And it's our last section of new trail for the day. So swing over to the hut. We are still wearing base layers. And the snow right here is a little bit deeper. But I don't know if that's because of drifting. And we've got some old snowshoe hair prints in here. And there was a grouse when we were coming up Upper Bruin who walked all around right near the split. Lots of bunny prints. I'd say in this section there's 1 inch to 2 inches of snow. But I think a lot of that is like blown in. All right, next stop is the hut. We're most of the way up Madison now, but there's one lady ahead of us, so I thought I would shoot my video here in case we don't have the summit to ourselves. This is the Carters over here. The Wildcats right here. You might be able to see the ski slopes. A little bit of snow on one of the runs. They must be making snow. And then over here, Washington, the auto road snaking up the left-hand side here. Great Gulf, Mount Clay. There's Adams. And Star Lake is right down in here. Yep. John Quincy Adams right here. I have to look. I think this is John Adams, maybe? I have to look. When we were over there, it makes sense. All right. Very low winds right here. The summit is going to be right up. You kind of come up and then it's a little bit flat for just a little bit. We're almost there. Looking out to the northwest. Well, it's the north. And that's the west over to Vermont. Lots and lots of stuff visible over there today. All right. Okay, so this on the left, the big white line, that is the auto road. And then you might see a little V where it splits off. And that is the old carriage road, winter bypass, whatever you want to call it. And it's quite a nice hike down. And it goes up, I can't really point because this is zoomed in so much, but there's 2 bumps. And it kind of comes out on the auto road between those 2 bumps. of those bumps is Nelson Crag, maybe, and Ball Crag. I don't know my crags. I need to know them, but I don't. I think that's Nelson Crag on the right. Okay, that's cool. Looking down into Great Gulf, I can almost see Spalding Lake. The sun hits it right. Okay, we're off. We made it up. So we took the Osgood Trail up, which is that pleasure trail. It will continue on this way, and it goes over a bunch of bumps. It's got a fair amount of exposure. Yeah, it goes over this ridge right here, Osgood Trail. And looking back, sorry, Carter Mariah's, Wildcats, Washington, Clay, Adams. This is a little bit of the summit area here. It's a little breezy here. I'd say 10. I was gonna say like gusts of 10. It's not really sustained. It just stopped. They fixed the trail sign that had been broken, but you can't read it unless you clear it off. That is for Watson Path. There's a big cairn right there. That is a lot of exposure. It's a little bit rough. We've done it twice coming up, both times in the winter. Yeah, you just gotta realize what it is, because it's the quickest way up.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a map.
The first time we did it,
That's
why.
why we did it.
Right.
We were like, we're gonna make a loop out of this. It will be.
Why would you not go
Yeah.
direct?
Why not go direct? Yeah. We were dumb and lucky. The weather was cold. It was cold because it was winter, but it wasn't crazy windy. The second time we did it, the wind was a bit higher. I think it was higher than they forecast it to be, but we were much better prepared. But it was not super pleasant because of the way the wind comes there. It's just not good. So Watson Path, just beware. Same thing with Star Lake. People make a lot of bad decisions about Star Lake, which actually I was thinking of making one of those bad decisions today. If you want to do that, we can. It doesn't matter. So Star Lake is a rather steep climb up from the Star Lake area. It goes up Adams, and it is let's not do it. Definitely don't want to go down it.
Yeah, we'll do it the easy way.
There's a lot of scramble on that one. So yeah, it's okay.
Best traction today.
Well, there's just not, if there were like more snow or more ice,
Right.
then maybe. But it's that in between bony stuff. So we're not wearing spikes yet. I mean, you see the rock here, but almost everybody is wearing spikes. What they're doing is dulling their spikes. And I'm not convinced that it's actually helping them on this stuff, because it's really not, there's enough rock. But to each his own, hike your own hike.
Can you see the old carriage road?
Can I see the old carriage road?
The carriage road that we took down when we were coming down.
Oh, you're talking about the winter cutoff?
Yeah, winter cutoff.
Absolutely.
Clear as day.
Yeah, look at that. Wow, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
You can see the top of it too.
Yeah, you can see all the way. Look at that. Maybe I'll shoot another video where I zoom in and show you that. I shot a video from it when we did it last, I guess we did it in the spring. Yeah, there was no snow on it. But there's the auto road, and then there's like a winter bypass. That was, I guess, the original winter route. It might have been the actual road originally. Was it?
I think so.
Or was the carriage
But
road
I
up?
don't think it's ever paved. It was before.
No, it was never paved. We took that this summer. It was really nice, and it cut off a big chunk of road walking. So I'll zoom in and do that. So we're at the junction of Gulfside and Airline, one of the junctions. This is where we're gonna head up on Airline to the summit of Adams, which is right there. This sign says 0.5. I don't know if I believe that, but I think it's 0.4. This is looking down Airline, right down this ridge here. And then Airline runs together with Gulfside. That sign right there, which actually I can't see it on my screen, but there's a sign right there. It says it's 1/10 of a mile to get to this sign. It's like 200 feet, so not 1/10 of a mile, but I guess for sign purposes. It's kind of weird that there's mileage on it. We're not technically in the wilderness, but none of Gulfside is in the wilderness, and they don't have mileage on other signs. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, this is the side of Quincy Adams right here. And I believe this is Sam Adams. Maybe not. That's Sam Adams. Is there a John Adams too? A separate one? I can't remember now. And then there's Abigail Adams, and that one's definitely down behind Sam Adams. Sam Adams is huge. It's like a big monstrosity. As you're hiking towards Jefferson, it takes up the right side of the trail for quite a ways.
There's Adams 5.
Yeah. They have numbers and names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Adams 5 on here.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
That one right there. That. Yeah.
That's Sam Adams.
No,
That's Sam Adams.
no, Sam Adams is the one on the right. It is.
Okay.
Anyway. There's a bunch of Adams. The only one you need to climb is this main one right here, unless you're doing the trail rights list, in which case you have to climb each one of them on separate trips. So, and they're quote unquote bushwhacks, but really it's rock hopping, and probably easier to do in the winter when you don't have to be so careful with alpine vegetation, because this stuff right here, it's looking kind of red. All of this, that is Diapensia, which is also known as pincushion plant, and it can take like 100 years for it to get into a nice little mound, and some of those mounds are really, really big, so you don't want to step on that stuff. All right, we're up. Adams is just always, for me, it's always a brutal summit. It's got so many good trails coming up it, but then that last push, it's just tedious. Lots of rock hopping. The wind can be really bad, and it just feels like 4/10 of a mile takes forever. It's not my favorite, but it is one where you're satisfied when you did it. Okay, and we're off. We're up on the summit now of Adams, looking at Washington and the Great Gulf. Jefferson, of course, clay between them. Wildcats, Doubleheads, Kearsarge North, the Moats, I guess, right there, huh? Yeah. Carters. This whole thing is the Carters. Mariah, Shelburne, Mariah. And look at that tiny little mountain. There's Madison. And then down here is Quincy Adams. Across the street is Crescent, I think. Might be able to see Durand Lake right down in here, which is right across the street from the Appalachia parking lot. And then Airline going down this. I'd say the winds are variable. 5, nothing to 7 or something. Lots of layers of mountains out there. Got some high, what are those, stratus clouds? Cirrus? I don't know my clouds anymore. Some high clouds. And on the sign, pretty good frost feathers. Let me get over there. Oh, my shadow is in here, but let me get a little further away. All right, there it is. Some frost feathers. They're not very feathery because I think they melted a bit and then refroze. I like it when they really look feathery, but they're still cool. It's quite warm in the sun. We were wearing our wind layers because we never layered down, and it got really hot climbing up because we didn't have any wind at all. But we're gonna head down the same way we came. There's a couple cairns here. It's a little tricky finding the path. So it was kind of nice that a few people had been out already ahead of us, and they did a good job of staying on trail. I've been up here in the winter where I just scaled the side of it basically because I couldn't tell where it was. I mean, the cairns were buried, everything was buried, but today was pretty good. And now we're gonna head back down and over to Airline, and I think I can see people right near the split. It must be Littlefoot in her group, huh?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so Airline has this area that's above tree line, and then you get down into the trees, and there is quite a bit of ledge sometimes with a lot of flow ice on it once you're down there. So we'll see how that is. People we met this morning coming up said they were able to bare boot it coming up.
And it was all avoidable.
And it was avoidable. And I would say the same thing for what we saw on Valley Way. Although going down, I might have put on spikes a couple places just because. So we might end up using spikes.
We'll see.
We'll see. I've got with me a really, really dull set of Cthulhu micro spikes and a semi-good set of Cthulhu micro spikes. So nothing that is super aggressive though. So we'll just take our time. We'll be in the trees then, so at least you have something to grab onto. But all right, we're gonna head on down. We just entered the top of Airline now, and this is the junction with King Ravine. It's just so incredibly steep. I know people go down it, but that's crazy.
Not without sleds.
No, yeah, right. You can roll down it real fast. Yeah. We've only ever come up it once, and we need to do it again.
We do need to do it again.
Yeah.
Not in the winter.
Not in the winter. Nope. Somebody went up Great Gully yesterday with an ice axe and crampons and basically said, yeah, I think that is not time. Yeah, it's not. If you're a hiker, don't do it until next year. If you're an ice climber or whatever, the ice wasn't really in enough. We just came out of the sun right here. So this is at the tree line where they give you the everyone dies, turn around sign. This should also say that it's the Alpine zone, but it's missing. All right, so 2.8 miles to get back to the car. And I think there's one more little pop-out view. If you were coming up, you would get your first view there, but should just kind of be woods walking now. I expect there to be some ice. There's a little bit right here in the last half mile or so of Airline. That was a little slower coming down. I knew there'd be ice on it, and there was, but it was all avoidable if you were careful. You had to rock hop everything, and it was just a little tedious after spending so much time hopping rocks going up. I almost went down that drainage. Nice. Yeah, so it's a little bit after 4. Sunset, I think, is around 4:30. We should be down before that. What else? My last 2 videos were shot on GoPro, and I have 2 batteries. They both died in the middle of the videos, I think. So I apologize if they got cut off. But yeah, it was fantastic weather conditions. Trail conditions were a little slow because shoulder season, but still better day out than at work. Sorry, people. And we finished up those little hanging chads that we had on this section. So that's nice too. All right. Whew. Adams and Madison.